right, everybody. Welcome to This Week in Real Estate, joined by Corey, Auto EXP Realty there. He was starting to jam out to the tunes a little bit, feeling the funky groove. Jackie Lang here with USA Mortgage. I'm also with USA Mortgage. Every Sunday night, we're going to just sit down like this at 7 p.m. Eastern. We're glad the Packers won today. I'm not a Vikings fan, but they did win as well. But I think we need to keep it relevant. We want to answer questions. If you have any questions in the comments, or just throw them in the comments, what's going on. But Corey is going to talk about today's what's happening now in real estate as a realtor, and Jackie and I are going to talk about as what we see from a lending standpoint. So if you're joining in, thanks for stopping in on a Sunday night. We just got done, like I said, watching the Packers whoop up on the LA Rams. And first of all, our thoughts are with all the people that were affected by Hurricane Helene. It's just horrible. More and more stuff keeps coming out. I'm seeing trailer loads of stuff going out there. I don't know what to believe on the news or on social media. Corey and Jackie, you got some people saying they're not letting supplies in. I can't imagine that. So I don't want to get into all that tonight. But just thoughts and prayers with everybody else. There's another hurricane, Hurricane Milton, now heading for Sarasota. I guess I'm glad I live in the Midwest when I see stuff like that in the winter when it's minus 30. I'm not as big of a fan of it, but when I see we don't have to worry about hurricanes in Wisconsin. Just have to worry about cold weather and tornadoes. So I digress. Corey Otto, EXP Realty. What are you hearing from buyers, from sellers? Like what's the common theme you're kind of hearing right now, or from other agents? We saw a little bit of that, that market. The Fed's going to drop rates. Okay. So they did a little bit, but then the jobs report came out this past week and it was better than expected. And, and obviously it affected the bond market. Jackie and I see that when we look at the 10-year and the 30-year, and we start seeing rates sneak back up a little bit yet. But I don't think this economy is as good as everybody says it is. I think inflation's in crazy high. Everything's super expensive. And I'm seeing a slowdown, Corey, I don't think we have as many buyers out there as maybe we did this summer. Is that normal, Corey? Is it that time of the year? Or do you think, is it I'm waiting for the election? Like, what are you hearing? What are you feeling?
Yeah, I experienced the same thing this weekend. I had a new property go on the market in Portage, 4-bedroom, 2-bath in that 230, 240 price range 4 or 5 months ago or midsummer. I had an open house on Saturday. There's been a few showings on it. A couple people came to the open house 4 or 5 months ago. There would have been 10 people, 15 people at the open house, a bunch of agents showing the property, and multiple offers by Saturday or Sunday, and going above asking price, competitive offers, escalation clauses, things of that sort. And it's just slowed. But I think that for sellers, hey, maybe it's not the greatest thing. We definitely have to be strategic on how we're pricing properties, make sure that they're priced right and competitive. But I think it's a great opportunity for buyers. I know I've worked with some buyers this past year that wrote 4, 5, 6, 7 offers, thought they found the house, thought they found their dream home, got beat out or had to go way above asking price to be able to get the win the offer, to be the highest offer. Had to do some other things that were risky, as far as waiving inspections or quicker closings or just some crazy things. So it was a very, very competitive market the last 2 or 3 years, and it was difficult for buyers to get a good deal, to get the house that they wanted. So I see this now in the last 3 to 5 weeks, a real good opportunity for buyers that are still in the market.
Yeah, that's the one thing I've been thinking about, Corey, is like we talk about it all the time, internally, on the phone and stuff when we meet with agents. Now is a good time. Why do you want to wait for rates to drop? Okay, that's what I mean. I tell people every day, and Jackie, I know, saying the same thing. If you can get approved right now, we know rates we're not where you want to be, but we know they're going to go down in the future. So why would you not go in with less competition and get this house bought? And when people say housing is outpriced, it's not. I think housing has been undervalued for a long time. What it costs to build a house today, Corey, and how long you have to wait, it's insane. So that's why. And then, the number one stat I read every time, and I talk about every week whenever I'm on social media, is 90% of America's wealth is tied up in real estate. I mean, there's a refinance boom waiting for people that are going to pay off credit cards and UTVs and boats and student loans and all kinds of stuff. Once rates come down to a spot that's somewhat respectable again, I don't ever want to see the twos ever again, Corey and Jackie. That means we have another pandemic going on. I don't know if that's what, housing and mortgages kept our economy alive during the pandemic. Without that, because that was the only thing that was selling, right? Because you couldn't go out to eat. You couldn't do anything else. You couldn't get a car. Everything was used. But I felt like housing, because money was so cheap. So it's not the cost of the house, guys. It's the cost of money for that house. I mean, Jackie, we see it, right? We had people that could, when rates were super low, you could get pre-approved for a $400,000 house, Corey. And now that same house, you're that same person, same income, same debt to income ratio, everything can get pre-approved for about a $200,000 house or a $225,000 house. And that's why I say every day, and I'm going to say it until I die, get pre-approved before you go house shopping. Because like when they call you, Corey, when an agent calls or when a buyer calls you, you're going to be like, yeah, I'll show you that house. But you don't know. I mean, people will kind of, hey, I make X and I think I can afford this, or I pay this much for rent. But Jackie and I, or any lender, we're not going to let you be house payment poor. So once you've seen a $500,000 house, Corey, and then you go get pre-approved and you can only afford a $300,000 house, that's hard on the old, on the psyche there, I think. I don't know. I see it happen more than I want it to, Corey. But again, everybody's excited. We see that Zillow ad. We see that realtor ad. Mom calls and says, hey, the house across the street that, Bill and Betty used to live in is for sale. And you're like, you get all excited and you call the agent. And I don't know. Corey kind of steered me down that path a little bit. I'm kind of going off on a tangent. Sorry.
Yeah, I think that I have two great examples of that. It's actually two different scenarios that Jackie and I are working on. A couple weeks ago, we had a young couple, first-time home buyers. They came and met with me. They'd already had a predetermined. They picked the 250 number that they felt that they were going to be comfortable with, but they didn't really have any idea of what they could get for 250 or really what the actual payments would be. And I think Jackie can touch on that as well. That there's numerous things with either taxes and insurance or so forth that or interest rate for that matter that goes into your payment, but. So I met with them, got him pre-approved with Jackie. Jackie was able to get him pre-approved in that $250,000 price range, but was also able to tell them, hey, you guys have really good credit. It was a younger couple, and I was very excited to see that they didn't have a bunch of credit card debt or high car payments. And, she's gave him the numbers for what their payments would be in that 250 range, but also let them know that they could go higher. And again, we want them both, you guys, I know you and trust you guys, and we don't want to put anybody in a house that they aren't going to be able to afford to, pay the rest of their bills or do anything, go on vacation or go out to eat. But, I took them and showed them they were happened to, we picked 3 or 4 houses, went and looked at them like that 220 to 250 range. And they were a little bit surprised. I think they expected more in that range. That range gets them a little bit older house or some house with some deferred maintenance or updates that are needed. But I think that's where they need to start. And then second example, Jackie and I just, started working on it tonight. We were just talking here before the podcast, and just the opposite then, where kind of Jason, you had touched on. Someone contacted me and said, hey, we're interested in this type of home out in the country. We need this many bedrooms, this many bathrooms. A garage is important to us. Gave me a brief background on their income and what their current bills are, and but really had no idea where they were landing as far as either the purchase price they should be in or could be in, and what type of payments it was. So in that scenario, definitely, like you had explained before, that's where they need to start. Started Jackie's pre-approval process, and she's going to be able to tell them before we even look at houses what range they qualify for and what a payment looks like, so that they are educated and they do know but before they go out and look at homes. Yeah.
Jackie, talk about debt to income ratio a little bit and touch on the fact that we cannot let people be house payment poor. Can you kind of walk us through that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I can't stress it enough when it comes to like looking at people's debt to income ratio. And you have a lot of people that are like, I pay $2,000 a month in rent, but I keep getting told I can't buy a house. It's not so much like that you can't buy a house. Sometimes it's what else comes in and factored into buying a house. There's different things that are factored in when you're getting pre-approved for rent versus buying a house that we have to take into consideration. A lot of the standards across the board is 43% for a debt to income ratio, depending upon the program that you do go with. Some programs allow you to have a higher debt to income ratio, but that also entails that we have to take into consideration your brand new mortgage payment, your escrow, which happens to be your property taxes and your insurance. And depending upon your down payment, it also can include your PMI, which is your property mortgage insurance. So it also will increase your payment and it increases your debt to income ratio as well too, which can qualify you for a less amount depending upon the situation. But I can't also stress enough what Corey was just saying as well too, is having the relationship like that Corey and I have together, and we partner very, very well as with Jason. Letting people know when they reach out is making sure you have a pre-approval. I have personally been in that situation before where people are wanting to buy a $500,000 house and they have their heart set on this one specific house, but didn't talk to a lender at all. And then you have to break it to them that you can't afford a $500 house. You would literally be living just in your house just to be able to live there. You wouldn't be able to pay anything else on there. So it is extremely important just to make sure that you reach out to us. We're extremely knowledgeable. This is what we do for a living. This is what we're here for. We want to get you in a house. I mean, we want to see everybody get into a house and live their American dream. I mean, what else is more important than that?
Yeah, and I talk about that a lot. I do a lot of Snapchats and Facebooks. I just say, you do not need 20% down to buy a house. I really feel like a lot of people are they're scared. I don't want to be told no. Corey doesn't like to be told no. Jackie doesn't like to be told no. So I think we get caught up in that, rates are too high. We get caught up in the media. We get caught up in the hype. And that's what I want to debunk, that myth. That's why, Corey was like, hey, guys, we got to do this podcast. We're like, heck yeah, let's get on and do it. Let's just talk. Let's talk real. Let people know we're real people. There's a lot of great agents out there. There's a lot of other good lenders out there as well. Obviously, we think we're the best. I'd be naive if I didn't say that. But but we do this. If you're listening to this, and let's say you're somewhere in Texas, right? And if you go talk to a realtor in Texas and you trusted, they're gonna send you to a lender that they trust to get your deal done. I don't like it when somebody just sees the ad on TV, and these companies, they just live in a cubicle and they're not real loan officers. They're just data processors, and they don't know how to answer the questions. They don't answer their phone at 8:00 at night when a buyer really needs you. So, but that's just, again, I kind of digress, but it's all good. Corey, do you have some, are you seeing a lot of listings, or has there been some action, or are you hearing, hey, I'm going to wait till after the election? What are you kind of hearing and seeing these days?
Yeah, I definitely think that, as I had explained before, that properties are staying on the market a little bit longer. There isn't that, urgency. There was times where, this past year, a property came on at, 3 p.m. and you had to schedule an appointment and show it, I had to show it to my buyer by 5:00 in order to even have a chance to get an offer in. So I do think that there's less on the market right now. There's a little bit less to choose from. In Portage this week, just it's on the top of my mind because I have a listing here in Portage, and it was a tough to be in that 250 or under range, and there was very, very few, one or two a week. And we did have an increase in some listings this week in what I would consider the first time home buyer range. So I think that's good.
Yeah, so I see Is there a specific listing you want me to click on here, Corey?
Yeah, I guess if you want to zoom in on the map, Jason, then we can. You'll see Portage. Yeah.
There's Montello where Jackie lives. Why am I not seeing Portage on here, Corey?
Yeah, if you go south. Down.
Well, and while you guys are trying to find Portage on the map,
you see that 11, Jason. If you.
Oh, there it is. Had it covered up. I know where Portage is, Corey. I feel so stupid right now.
Zoom in on 11.
Okay.
It's you got too used to your Tesla, Jason, and you don't even pay attention where you're driving anymore. You just
it works. I'm not gonna lie, buddy. I'm not gonna lie. So
what were you gonna say, Jackie? I sorry, interrupted you.
No, I was just, while you guys were looking for it, I was just gonna kind of chime in on, the first time home buyers. I honestly I can't stress enough with the first time home buyers that now is literally their time to buy. And not waiting out for if or when rates are going to drop. You can always refinance.
Yeah. Well, and then you're gonna we dealt with a lot of first time home buyers during COVID, right? But we also had 30 offers on every property. What a first time home buyer doesn't have is an extra 10, 20,000 to bring to the table if the appraisal doesn't come in at. I think one of the biggest myths, Corey and Jackie, was, and for all of you watching right now, is that a house was sold for $300,000. We heard all the time on the news. Okay, they sold for $350,000. I think the conception truly was that we, the bank, lent them the $350,000, and that is not true at all. We go up to 100% loan to value, right? So if they went $1 over, that was extra money they had to bring to closing. You know what I mean? So that. And
I think that was a misconception too, Jason. I would have to 100% agree. Working through the pandemic and stuff like that, doing mortgages, there was a lot of people that they went over asking price. And then when you're like, just so you know, that was the first conversation you had, you went 20,000 over asking price. If this does not appraise out, where are those funds coming from? You had to have that conversation. And I felt so bad for first time homebuyers too during the pandemic, because so many of them got pre-approved, but very rarely did any of them get homes because there was bidding wars and people going over asking price, cash offers. It was crazy.
Corey, which street is yours?
Yeah, it was that Carroll Street one, that 221. I think it said 220 there. Yeah, 220. Go down one. Yeah, 207 West Carroll. Yeah.
Yep.
I think if you double click, that would come up.
Yeah, I'm fitting on my crappy internet. I don't live in the country, so. In Richland Center, where I live, you have to live in the country to have good internet. So this is embarrassing, but here it comes. Sorry, guys. All right, there we go. It'll come through in a second, I promise. Oh, I gotta share a different screen here. Give me 1 second. I was like, what is going on?
It's all that power that your Tesla's taken.
Yeah, it's charging. It's charging right now. It's saving the world right now. Man, people, you gotta see the faces I get driving that thing. And I just, like I said, I just wanted to drive it because it drives me. Anybody who's ridden with me knows I look at my phone way too much. And the Tesla's been a good thing. So here we are, Corey's new listing at 207 West Carroll. Now, and one thing I want to talk about right away, once you have a trusted agent and you like them, you feel good about them, the agent knows your dog's name, knows when you're getting married, knows your kid's name. Just because you drive by a house, okay, and it has another agent's name on there, if your agent didn't do a good enough job letting you know that they can show you any property, shame on them. But that's one thing that I just feel happens is a buyer thinks they have to call the name that's on that sign, and you want your own independent representation because this is a negotiation for you to buy this house. So, I encourage everybody all the time to reach out to their buyer's agent. Keep that relationship. If you don't like them, fire them. But if you like them, they're doing a good job and they're answering phone calls and text messages and they're going to bat for you. You need to stay with that. And they can show you any property, guys. Any property. I really wanted to stress that there. So, Corey, let's talk about 207 West Carroll, buddy. Portage, how long has this been on the market?
Yeah, so I just went active on Friday. Showing started. And again, this was the one I was referencing before where I did have an open house this weekend. So it's 4-bedroom, 2-bath, has some lots of space to it. Doesn't look like it from the outside, but definitely has a lot of space. Refinished hardwood floors that you're going through there.
If you want me to stop on any picture, Corey, just let me know, bud.
No, I'm fine. I think what's unique about this one is, and I think that's what people have to think about too. Hey, do I want or need bedrooms on the first floor? I think sometimes that's the most overlooked thing of, people will tell me the number of bedrooms they need. But do you want to be going up and downstairs to your bedroom or not? So this is pretty unique where it does have 3 bedrooms on the first floor and a 4th bedroom on the second level, as well as a really cool finished like attic space upstairs. So,
Jackie, will you get your mortgage calculator out? Corey, what are taxes on this house?
Let me look here.
Corey, run an FHA scenario. Or no, what do you want to do, Jackie? Should we do USDA or should we do FHA or do conventional 3% down?
We can realistically, we could do any of them.
Yeah. Let's do. Let's find out what taxes are. Use $100.
Taxes on this house are $2,872.
Okay, Jackie, use $100 for homeowners insurance. Okay.
Yep.
$2,872, and use 7% for a rate. I know that's a little higher probably, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. Your tax will be $239 a month on that, Jackie.
Yep. So
Jackie's going to run some scenarios. Because that's one thing, Corey, a lot people see that Zillow or they just see principal and interest. And, unless you have 20% down, you have to escrow your taxes and insurance. And a lot of people who do even have 20% down, Corey, they still escrow because they like to know that the taxes and insurance are paid. So
what was the purchase price on this house, Corey?
$234,900.
This is cool. I like this.
Mm-hmm.
That's the attic space. That'd be the man cave, Corey.
Right.
85-inch big screen TV, surround speakers, watching tractor pulling videos. Life is good. Life is good. And that's right in the middle of Portage, Corey?
Yeah, very close to like the splash pad. So yeah, it's a nice location, closer to downtown, easy access to interstate, fenced in backyard. If you have dogs or kids that are going to run away. So yeah,
or adults. Sometimes adults will run away, Corey. Well, Jackie's punching up some numbers here, just give you some rough scenario what a total monthly payment looks like on there. You had an open house, you said, this weekend, Corey?
I did, yep, on Saturday.
Good deal. What a beautiful weekend we've had for weather so far. It's been amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's starting to act like fall. I think I saw a freeze warning for tonight, though. So it's starting to be those cold at night and then probably warm during the day for a little bit before it gets stupid cold again.
Heat in the morning when you start your car up and air conditioning in the afternoon. So welcome to Wisconsin.
So 1925. In MLS, or the MLS number is 1987018, 207 West Carroll Street, listed by Corey Otto, 697-4098 is his phone number. If you guys want to see this house, get a hold of Corey on that, and we'll keep checking out. So, like, Corey, do you get like weekly things from like your realtor association, let you know how many new listings are in Portage? Or I see agents post that kind of stuff from time to time. Where do they get that kind of information from?
So yeah, we have access to our MLS, and I can basically bring up any stat in any city. I'm just going to give you an example. I have mine up here on my end. Just going to type in a couple of things. Just for example, right now in Portage, again, it feels like we're on this first-time home buyers kick, but 250 and under, there's 5 houses available in Portage right now. Let me just grab up to 300. Yeah, so 300 and under, there's 8 houses. I'm really surprised. I was looking tonight at just some of the active listings. Baraboo is pretty popular. Houses don't stay on the market very long in Baraboo either. And they have a little bit of inventory. So they have 6 active listings in Baraboo. Another city I work is Columbus. Pretty good, area as far as being able to commute to the east side and to Madison. It's been pretty tough to find anything in Columbus. And there's actually some pretty good properties on the market there now too this week. So definite opportunities for buyers right now as far as some good inventory, and just that they don't have to feel rushed. Before, I mean, I showed properties, a few months ago, and they're like, "Hey, how long?" I said, "You have 2 hours to make up your mind." "Hey, we're going to think about it." I said, "Yeah, you have 2 hours." And so it was, put the pressure on. I didn't do it, intentionally with these buyers, but I knew the market, and I knew how quick houses were going to go. I knew that there was many showings on properties, so I like that people are at least able to, think about the home, think about the longevity. And I talk to buyers when I say that. I mean, I showed some buyers some properties this weekend, and I said, "Hey, is this a 7 to 10 year plan for you, or a 3 to 5 year plan? Because I think it makes a difference on your decision here." And you have to consider that as well. How long is this house going to fit your needs? Are you going to have more children, or is there going to be some, older family members or something moving in with you? Is this, does it works right now, but is this going to work for kind of what your plans are in the future as well? So there's a lot of different topics I can bring up for buyers when we're looking at properties to help them go through the decision-making process on whether a specific house is right for them or not.
Yeah, the one question I get, is there ever a time, Corey, that you would not recommend as a lender somebody to buy a house? And I always say the only time I would ever recommend not buying a house if you don't think you're going to be in that house for more than a year. That's true, because the first year really is just interest payments only when you look at the full breakdown on it. But other than that, I mean, I've looked at like the graphs, Jackie and Corey, on the last 50 years, as long as they've been tracking this. There has never been a period more than 3 years or more where houses have not increased in value. I mean, you think about it. You get that new car, we drive it off a lot. What's it do? Immediately it goes down in value. I don't know anything else that you can buy that you can legitimately buy and it goes up in value every year. Unless you're like into like collectible cars, and even then, I mean, buying a house is so important. This is where your kids sleep. This is where your pets sleep. I mean, you can borrow a car for a couple of days if your car breaks down, but have to go crash on somebody's couch. That's not fun. You need a place to live, and that's why I love working in the industry we do, because we offer a lot for buyers. And like if you call me or you call Jackie and we can't help you, we're going to find somebody who can, or we're going to tell you what you need to do to buy a house. And that's really, I want those initial phone calls, Corey and Jackie. I don't want them to wait until it's too late. You know what I mean? Because like you were right, Corey. I mean, I remember I need this pre-approval done in an hour, Jason. Okay, well, I'm like that borrower. I need W-2s, pay stubs, bank stubs, and a copy of a driver's license. Because you do need to be ready to write an offer. Because you can write an offer without a pre-approval letter, Corey. We know that, or with a home sale contingency, but that's never going to be as solid in certain situations. So.
I think too, Jason, when you were touching before about, trusted realtors, I think it's good to have a trusted lender too, as far as when there's competition, and it's going to increase again. We're going to go back to a time where, or, a point I feel in the next few months here where, more buyers are going to come out. It's traditionally in Wisconsin, it does slightly slow in the wintertime, maybe because it's just not as fun to think about moving or to look at houses in the dark when it's 4:00 in the afternoon. But I've when I was presenting offers to other agents this past year or in the last several years, they wanted to know who the lender was. And, I had a scenario 6 weeks ago where, houses out in the country are still very popular. Anything with a little bit of acreage or a little bit of land. Obviously, everybody wants their space where they have some more privacy and stuff. It's tougher to get a home in the country. I wrote an offer for some buyers, and the list agent called me up and said, "Hey, I saw your pre-approval. again, I won't mention any names here, but they're like, we haven't had good luck with that lender on being able to close in time. And these particular sellers were relocating out of state. We were able to win the offer after I got them pre-approved with Jackie. And because we had a shorter closing time, I told them I was confident that Jackie could get it done. She put a rush on the appraisal, and we were not the highest offer on that property, and still won because there's other things the seller was looking for. And I found out what that was. They needed to sell quickly, relocate out of state. We were able to do a lot quicker closing than most, and had confidence with the pre-approval letter to be able to win the offer. So there are other things that are important, and not just pricing.
Yeah.
And back to like the point of the property that you were just on too. So the estimated payment on something for 234.9, everybody, with where those property taxes are, you're looking at just over $2,000, depending upon how much the homeowner's insurance is. With a rough estimate that I put in there and only 3% down, it would have been like $2,012. So that's a rough estimate on that property. But I would have to agree 100% with Corey. And another thing that I personally, and I know Jason, you can't stress this enough, we talk about it all the time because we see it all the time. Make sure that when whoever you go through as a lender, obviously I would love to have you, Jason would love to have you, make sure that you're actually getting an actual pre-approval letter. We see so many pre-qualification letters coming through and getting offers. And then once you are taking a look at everything, and you're looking at the numbers, they're really not pre-approved for that amount.
Well, if a lender's not asking you for your bank statements or your pay stubs or your driver's license,
Jason.
Yeah, that's just what's that, Corey?
I said, put your email in, Jason. No, I'm just kidding.
I will. I'm not afraid. Then Corey will be calling me. Hey, what's up, buddy?
So yeah, I do think that the other thing that kind of came to my mind, as far as pre-approval and why it's important, I've seen it again. I think the next 2 or 3 months are going to be the best time for buyers to get a decent deal, and again, not to have that extreme competition like we had before. And even if it's something that a buyer isn't quite ready, like I've talked to some buyers, hey, we have a lease till February, great, now's the time to get pre-approved, in case something does come up in the credit. I've seen it before where both Jason, you and Jackie were able to help people out where something came up in the credit. It was either an oversight. Jason, you and I just talked about, I had that personal situation a week and a half ago where something came up on my credit, and luckily I have Credit Karma and I got a notification about it, and but it's going to take time to correct it, 30 days in some cases to be able to correct something. So even if you're thinking ahead that, hey, I don't want to buy till spring, I'm in a lease, or any other reason that you're thinking out 4 or 5 months, I still think it's a good time to get started, get pre-approved, and at that point even start looking at homes, because again, just because it's fresh on my mind, the couple I was working with this weekend, they hadn't ever looked at homes. They've been living in an apartment, and we were able to look at 3 or 4 in their price range, and each of them had pluses and minuses of things that they were looking for. But I think that's how you may on paper know that. I mean, I've shown a 2,500 square foot house and a 1,500 square foot house, and just because of the layout, the 1,500 square foot house felt bigger and fit their needs, where the larger house had a small living room, and they're like, hey, they actually said to me on Saturday, oh, this looked good on paper, but now that we've seen it in person, it's not going to work for us. I mean, they liked the house, they liked the pictures that they saw, but once you're physically in there and can feel the floor plan and feel the flow, things might change. So
I'm on your. I'm sorry, Corey.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm on your EXP website right now. I went to market reports. I put in Portage. This is good. This is good knowledge. Homes for sale in the last 30 days, 141. That's down 9.5%. This echoes what Corey's been talking about. New to market, 15 homes. Days on the market, 17 days. I mean, Corey, there was a time they were on the market one day. You know what I mean?
Right.
It was crazy.
Right.
Market average.
Not even an hour sometimes.
They round up to a day.
Yeah.
Market average in the last 30 days, average home price 331. That's actually down a little bit. So that tells you, a little bit of a softening market. Average sold price 335,000. That's crazy. You would ask me this 8 years ago, I would have said no way. Would I ever see an average sold price of 335,000 in Portage? And that just tells me they're only going to continue to go up. 57 homes sold in the last 30 days. Recent listings, there's Genesec Road, Rivershore, and I like to click on $1.5 million listings. Jackie,
Me too.
Just check them out.
Anybody listening that wants to see this 1.5 million, I'd be happy to show it to you. I'll still do it tonight.
Jackie, we got to do a jumbo. We got to run numbers on this one. It'd be a jumbo.
I got you.
Loan.
Minimum, I'll stay up all night to get it done.
Minimum. I think we need. What's a jumbo loan? We need 10%. I don't do a lot of jumbo loans. I know there's not first-time home buyer programs on jumbo loans.
No, there's not.
I think it's 10% down.
10% is the down payment.
Corey, so this is that's the beautiful Wisconsin River.
Mm-hmm.
So you're paying for the view here, basically, or
right.
It must be a lot of land with it. How many acres? 340 feet of frontage, 3 waterfront lots. Okay. 20. Yeah, you're paying for some land and some, and it's got 3 parcels with it. Yeah, that's pretty snazzy. Yeah, that view doesn't suck, guys.
Right.
So what you're saying is that I have 3 parcels at my house as well. So I should be able to sell mine for this too.
Yeah, Montello. Tell me about the river and the golf course that you're next to, and the ski resort, Jackie.
We have all the lakes surrounding us up here, but I live in the country though, and I have acres.
Corey, what's the most expensive property you've ever sold, Corey?
Let me think. Yeah,
Jackie, what's the biggest loan you've ever done? You're next, Jackie, with my question.
Yeah, I've had something in the it was actually this year, 800,000 range.
Yep.
And it was up by Castle Rock Lake, and they were buying it as a vacation home. They called me up on Sunday night, wanted to see it Monday. They drove from Minnesota. Only the wife came, and it was a completely furnished house, and the sellers were selling it completely furnished, which included a wine cellar, pool table, home theater room. It was absolutely amazing. And we were there an hour, and she said, or they said, well, hey, we'll take it. And they're excited. Got it. Nice house.
Love
right
it.
Across from Castle Rock.
Jackie, what's the biggest one you've ever done?
2.2 million.
Wow. Yeah, I did an $800,000 house down by New Glarus. So.
Yep, mine was a vacation home for somebody from up here that was purchasing down in Florida, right on the ocean.
Yep. Yeah, my guy was coming out of Chicago. He rented in Chicago, paid $5,000 a month in rent, and he was very, very happy what he could get for $800,000. I think he got 40 acres and it's like had some grapes on there for making wine, so he was quite happy with that. So, Corey, what's the biggest myth about buying a house? And Jackie, I'm going to ask you the same thing here before we wrap this up tonight. What's the biggest myth or the biggest misconception you think when it comes to real estate or mortgage or just life in general? We'll go all Play-Doh on everybody tonight.
Yeah, I think I wish somebody would have told me when I bought my first house when I was 20. I'm glad I did. I bought a lot of houses in my life. I changed my I like change, and but I think that when you were talking vehicles before and appreciation versus something depreciating, I feel like I bought my first vehicle when I was 18. I way overpaid for it. Had a huge payment at almost $400, which was just crazy. But I think for many years, and I like change. So I traded it in and got a different one and got a different one. And, my trade-in value sucked because the value of the vehicle went down. And I think it took me years to, 8-10 years to finally get out of that rut where I was just rolling in negative equity or not much equity from a vehicle to vehicle. Whereas, I know people that, bought a house 2 or 3 years ago, had to resell just, to relocate or to, their family grew or something. And they made $40,000-$50,000 on it without many improvements. I mean, I flipped houses starting 10-15 years ago, and I was happy to make $30,000-$40,000 profit when I put a lot of work and sweat and time and materials into it, where some people that I know bought houses several years ago and were able to sell it, make money, and put a positive equity into their next home. So and I think that brings up too, our home values up. Yeah, but if you already own, you're going to get good money for the house that you're selling and roll it into the next. So I think the biggest thing too is, again, as long as you're getting it at the right price and it works for your immediate needs. And I also recommend, and I had some conversations with some buyers over the weekend as well that were looking for a house, and it needed some updates to it. And I said, hey, I think if you do some updates to this property, A, you're going to enjoy it yourself, and B, it's an investment. You're going to get your money out of it. And we talked about what updates would get more money out of it and what updates, you might not get a good return on. So I really think that just being able to, that instead of just throwing money away at rent or, that scenario where you can actually increase your net worth or your equity in your home, so that when you do sell it, when it is time to move, when you do need something bigger or you do need to relocate, that you can get some money out of your home.
Well, 100% agree. And like I said, they've proven it over time. And like, I've been in the business 8 years now. When I got in the business, my average loan amount was about $120,000.
Right.
And that just to show you. And these are the same houses we're buying and selling today. And that's what I want people to realize. Yeah, we might be making more money now than we did, like minimum wage is up or whatever. I'm just using that as an example, but it costs a lot too. And I really want people, before you go get that brand new car, before you go get that UTV or that boat, and that's all fun stuff in life, go get your house, lock that down so you can get what you want and you're comfortable with it. And you can, like to Jackie's point, you can refinance. And one thing that Jackie and I don't talk about enough are renovation loans. Let's say you're pre-approved for $300,000 or $250,000, but you can't find that house. Don't be afraid to go look for a $150,000 house, knowing that you can put $75,000 into that house in renovations and make it your own. Find something with the good bones in the right neighborhood, get it bought. Your real estate agent still gets to close. We put the money in escrow. You work with our team to get your contractors lined up, and then they do the work. It's a great way to do that. And they work with conventional first-time home buyer loans, and they work with FHA as well. So it's really, that's something I want people to think about is, man, I just can't find that house in that right price range. Well, go down, go get the house and make it nice. Corey, your new listing's clearly been renovated. I mean, I saw a lot of new appliance in there, a lot of new paint, a lot of new everything. In an older home, a 1925 home, but it looks beautiful. And that's what you can do yourself. And instead of having somebody else flip it for you, just for lack of better terms, why don't you go flip it yourself? Don't be afraid of doing that. And like, I could never, Corey, my wife and I would kill each other if we had to make decisions like this. But I could never do the work. Like, Jackie's husband's handy, right? Corey, you're handy. I can't. I can't even change oil in my car. Well, I drive a Tesla, so I guess I don't have to change oil in my car. But that's my point, though. Like, I'd have other people do that for you, and that's what you do. And Corey, like, new windows aren't going to put up the value in your house, but a garage will. A bonus room, a pool, different things like that, and that's stuff you can do with a renovation loan. So and still stay in budget. It's awesome. I really want people to consider that. And Jackie, let's do a good job this week of telling our agents about renovation loans. So
Absolutely.
well, cool. Jackie, what you got? What's your biggest myth in our world?
Everybody thinking they have to have 20% for a down payment.
Yep.
It is
the biggest.
It
scares so many people, Jackie, away from even trying to buy.
And and it's almost like a pet peeve every time I hear it. I just want to like shake people sometimes and be like, that's not the case. I don't know who told you that. but it's all about education as well too. So when I hear people that say that, my first words to them is, let's talk on the phone and let's educate a little bit, because that's not the situation. There is no down payment programs. There is 3% down payments. There's 5% down payment. There's multiple different programs. There's down payment assistance. There's stuff out there for everybody.
Yeah, it's not like those commercials you hear on the radio. Do you have a job? Do you make $99 a week? It's not quite that easy, but right. It's not as far-fetched as you think. I mean, we do need a decent credit score. We do need you to have access to monthly income, but let us do the math and figure that out for you. But I remember the first time I bought a car, I was shaking in my boots walking into the bank because I didn't want to be told no. You know what I mean? I just feel like, and I'm 48 years old now, and I still don't like to be told no. And I'm just wondering how many people out there are doing that, because who do we listen to? Our family, and we listen to our friends. And if we're in the wrong circle of people that are not willing to, give good advice, like Corey, when you want Mexican food, you don't go to Taco Bell, right? Right. When you don't feel well, you don't go to WebMD, right? You go to experts, and that's where we are mortgage experts. You are a real estate expert, and you're going to team each other up with the right people. And we're not going to steer anybody wrong,
right?
Because at the end of the day, we want you to close. We don't get paid unless you close on your home. That's just the honest to God truth. There's nothing wrong with saying that. It's good stuff.
Yep, so. Absolutely.
Corey, one more to look at here.
Yeah, only just because I had talked about it and my words didn't do it justice. But when you'd asked about,
I thought you've been doing really good with your words.
The home I sold, I wanted to show.
Very nice. And Artdale.
I think the other thing that I really, and Jason, you had kind of mentioned it too when you were talking. I certainly, wish when I was younger, I brought up the part about me, buying my first car, and $400 may not seem like a high car payment now, but it was then. And I think that's the thing I don't like to see when buyers come in and they're getting ready to be pre-approved, and they're driving a brand new truck and they have a $800 or $1,000 a month car payment. So I do really want to be able to just educate people and making smart financial decisions, so that they can buy an asset that is going to appreciate, that they are going to have equity in, and make some improvements on it, and refinance or do what you need to do as far as getting your payment down there, and then you'll be able to afford the nicer truck, or boats, or the UTVs, or everything that everybody does want. I think those are great things, but I really feel like people need to make smart financial decisions too.
This home is beautiful, Corey.
Holy I know cow. It was. Wow. They actually, when I went and showed it in the theater room, they actually had the Top Gun 2 movie playing on the surround sound there in the theater room, and it was it's the best I'd ever heard there. It's like being in a real theater.
It's beautiful.
Look at that.
Guitars and everything stayed on the walls.
Wow.
Yeah, it was very neat.
Now I've got new goal set for myself, Corey. Thank you.
Wait till you get to the wine cellar.
I feel like we're getting close.
We are. Ooh. It's a walk-in wine cellar there.
Nope, I'm sold. I'm sold. Right. There we go.
Right. And this is the man cave. This was actually a garage that they finished. This is a finished attached garage.
Wow. Where's the golf simulator, Corey?
Right.
Like if I had a second street, I would want my wife to kick me on the couch. I'd be like, all right, later. See you, Sam.
Right. I mean, me even as a wife, I might ask my husband to kick me out to the garage.
I would call that your office, Jackie.
Yes, there you go. Like, this isn't a man cave. This is Jackie's office. Thank you.
It's got mini splits and everything. This is a beautiful home.
So this is actually above the detached garage that where the mini splits were. So it was a property that had a second home. Yeah, had a waterfall there. It was just amazing. Very fun. So, and I mean, that's what I enjoy too. People are like, I've had some buyers that are kind of like in that dream phase. They own a house right now. They've had it a few years. They have some decent equity in it. Last week I had shown another couple and they're like, hey, we're not really serious. We feel like we're wasting our time. And I'm like, that's the only way you're going to find something is to be able to go and see it. It's not wasting my time. I enjoy looking at expensive homes too.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. That would be awesome. Well, good stuff.
It gives us all good ideas on
goals,
our future mansions that we may be building.
Right. I agree. Well, Jackie, Corey, unless you guys have anything else, let's wrap this up. So
yeah, I definitely just want to say that throughout the week, or if you're watching this on replay, if you have any questions, feel free to chat them in. I can either answer your questions privately, or if you have topics that you want us to discuss in the future. We're going to do this every Sunday night. So
Corey, what's your cell? 608-697-6040, right?
4098.
Okay, I'm not even close. 697-4098. I'll put Corey's number up there on the screen for everybody.
But yeah, I think, Jason and Jackie, when we had talked, I think the thing we want, either future home buyers or people that own right now to get out of this is, information's power. And I've been doing this close to 15 years. I've taken things that I've learned in my personal life and my financial life and things that, homes that I've purchased and other clients that I've worked with. And, I really just think that, there aren't any silly questions. And if you don't know the process, or if you have questions about the process, or again, even if it's something that you are planning for in the future, reach out to one of us, ask us some questions if it's about homes or the different, specific questions about the home buying process. I'm happy to answer them. And then, get pre-approved. I think Jackie and Jason, maybe if you guys can touch briefly on it, but I think some people have been worried in the past where even if they're not ready right now and they try to get pre-approved, it's going to negatively affect their credit. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, the biggest thing that I can tell everybody is when you're looking to do a pre-approval, will you take a hit on your credit report? Yes, it's a hard hit, but it's not a huge hit.
It's like a couple points.
Yes, it's literally usually between 3 to 5 points.
The problem is you see your Credit Karma say 30 to 60. And remember, that's they're taking guesses, and I have to explain that like every day.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And that's not realistically the situation. I mean, Credit Karma doesn't give you an accurate credit score either way, but on our end, it's 3 to 5 points and you bounce back pretty quickly from it. Yeah. And I don't mind helping people if they're like, hey, I just want to check and see where I'm at right now, and if they're not ready, I still save their files. Absolutely. Because when they are ready, I want them to come back out and reach out to me. I want to be the people to help them make their dreams come true. So it's the same thing, Jason and myself, we love working with Corey. He always is referring people over to us and we make the transaction as smooth as possible. And ultimately, that's what a lot of this, podcast and stuff is for, is we want to give you guys all the information that we possibly can, and try to help people out, as much as we possibly can and give the information. So, I mean, like Corey was saying, we're going to do this every single Sunday. So if you have questions or people that do have questions, share out our podcast and have them join. It'll be every single Sunday at 7:00 that we're going to be doing this so that people can come in and ask questions. I mean, we can't see your faces or anything like that. We can see your name on there, but Jason had sent out my number as well too. Feel free to reach out to me with any pre-approval questions. Even if you're not ready to get pre-approved right now, I am happy to answer any questions that you might have to help you get to that point of being ready to be pre-approved. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, and don't be scared. Just pick up the phone and talk.
Mm-hmm.
Talk and ask questions, and that's what it's for. If you can answer emails and you can answer phone calls, you can buy a house. That's really, we don't meet in offices anymore. You don't need to go into the bank. Corey, you're going to meet your agent when you set up your listings and your showings, and otherwise it's not scary. It's actually it's scary because you're moving and it's a lot of money, but when you work with professionals, it's supposed to be fun, and we're going to get it done for you. So
yes,
awesome.
Love it.
Cool. Well, thanks for watching episode 1 of This Week in Real Estate. Jackie Lang, Corey Otto. I'm Jason Schultz. Have a good night, everybody.
bye,
Thanks.
everybody.
Thanks.